Hey everybody, we're back again. Joining me today are my guests, David from Germany. Guten Abend, guys, and danke for joining me today. And how are you all?
Well, great.
Doing fine.
Doing fine.
Well,
yeah, yeah. Looks like you've been in an Ironman tournament or something.
He's a wrestler. He's a wrestler as well. No, I'm joking.
I was going to say, oh, man, you've hit the right there. We'll have to get on that.
Hit the ground with the bike. So.
Yeah, that would be some hard grappling for sure. Oh, man. So, I was reading about the history of the band, guys, and it was interesting that you started as with a very much of a punk vibe, then turned to thrash, and then later death metal in the 90s. And I still hear, when I was listening to Hellgate, I still hear that punk hardcore vibe coming through the music. There's definitely that rebellious spirit. And, in my view, when I was listening to Hellgate, it certainly gave it that little bit of grit, added that rawness. So I just wondered do you guys as musicians think that punk and hardcore adds that rawness to extreme metal? And is that something that you intended to do, was to keep that spirit and rawness with extreme metal?
For me, it was necessary to sound not too polished.
Yeah.
Because those new polished bands are I like it when it's a little bit what's it in German?
Raw.
Yeah.
Thank you. And some for example, the old Autopsy.
Yeah.
Really, really raw, but really powerful.
Yeah.
So it has to sound a little bit like this, not too raw, but it has to be a real raw side.
Yeah, we're not trying to put in like some hardcore, like on purpose, some hardcore vibes or some hardcore tunes. But I think Harry, our guitarist, who's not here today, unfortunately, he is has been influenced by hardcore and punk a bit, and of course he brings it in when playing the guitar. And we all have kind of different influences, like Mark already said about Autopsy, and Basti and me from different parts of death metal as well. So it all comes in, and of course you can still listen to or feel like different influences. And we started off with punk a bit and thrash metal, but of course it's a long time ago, and it has changed, and more or less to death metal with thrash influences. But of course you can still figure out a bit of punk, a bit of hardcore, also if it comes to D-beat beats on the drums and stuff like that. So yes, we include that, of course.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I picked up on that straight away, especially with being into a lot of that music myself. As you mentioned about Autopsy, Cyanide as well, they've got that vibe to them. So I was curious. You mentioned there not to sound too polished, and so how do you try and achieve that balance of still retaining that authentic raw sound without coming across as too polished, like many bands, where it sounds almost too studio clean, and I feel it takes away something from the heaviness?
It was like the last album, The Precursors of Extermination. Cool album. I've mixed it and mastered it by myself. I'm no tone engineer or something like that, just a hobby. And I think it was good, but not good enough. And this album, we go to the Iguana Studios for the end mix and the mastering and main thing. So we talked to him, and we told him we wanted to hear, we wanted to have a sound a little bit more like the last album, but better produced. So not over produced guitars, overproduced bass or drums. It should be a little raw, yeah. So not too much editing thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's not that some of those bands that sound too clean are necessarily bad musicians. It's just sometimes, you know, as you were saying, it can sound too clean, take away a bit of that heaviness. And that's why as soon as I come across a band like yourselves, and okay, yeah, someone could say well, you're biased with liking all of that kind of music, but if I hear that bit of stench in the music, that kind of gutter sound, immediately my ears pick up. I get very hyper, very excited, and I'm like, man, I want to hear more from these guys. I want to see them live. I want to run around in the pit. I want to, you know, it's got it all.
Thank you.
Oh no, you're very welcome. I would
come across to Germany for the next show.
Oh hell, man, that would be a dream. Certainly would. If get there in the future,
Or-
might take. No,
You're gonna arrange a show for us over there in the UK.
I works. Excuse me to practice my German as well. Maybe upset the locals by saying the wrong kind of sentence. Got to wait. Yeah, I can speak German. Oh, I've said totally the inappropriate thing. So.
Gonna be fine.
Yeah. Also, the album cover caught my attention as well. Hellgate. It's like I feel it's kind of saying quite a statement. It's got this pathway going up to a gate of fire. I just wondered, how did you guys first get the idea for that, and who helped bring that concept to life?
Well, we had the idea of during the COVID pandemic that we were about to produce or to compose new songs, and then finally make this new album, Hellgate. And it seemed that, like at the beginning, at least, of the pandemic, everything was like really, desperate, and people were really worried, and we were worried, and the situation was bad. And in a way, other things that came in, like different politicians worldwide that had a big influence also on COVID and neglecting it or diminishing it. So we thought about that, and we wrote lyrics that deal with these issues. And then we thought that Hellgate as such, as an entrance into like a very, very bad future, hopefully not, but still, that was our idea, came up, and we thought about the cover, and we found that online at the Chris Cole, that artist who also drew the last cover on Precursors of Extermination. So we asked him again if he can get that, and he sold it to us, and it fitted perfectly to our lyrics and to the songs.
Yeah, it's certainly got that post-apocalyptic feel. I was wondering that actually if it was a bit of a metaphor for what has been happening. And it is. It's just before I get into asking you about one of the songs, which I think is definitely related to what you just said. How is the music scene there since COVID? Is it recovering quite well, or is it a bit mixed and struggling in parts?
The music itself?
Yeah, the local scene, the bands are the.
Basti, maybe you want
to maybe I can say something to that because I'm new in the band, and it's hard for me to talk about things.
But you're in the scene as well, music.
Yeah, scene. In the scene, yes. Yeah. It was really hard. In Germany, we had 1 year no playing like that. There were no gigs, no concerts, and then it came back. And the first year, it was 22, was really exciting. I'm a audio engineer, a live engineer, and I'm working in a club in Freiburg, and the concerts all were sold out, and before it was not like that. After Corona, the people wanted to go out, wanted to listen to music, wanted to have fun, and now it gets a little bit back, but it's better than before COVID. Yeah, but the year changed some things. In especially in Germany, we have a real problem for technician. Yeah, audio engineers, light engineers, we don't have them. If I wanted to, I can work on at the weekend on 4 or 5 venues, and I can, yeah. But that's not what I want. I want I want free time too, and so some things get some things are really problematic.
Yeah, just trying to find that balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is always difficult. This brings me. Well, I'm glad that things are improving. It seems to be picking up everywhere around the world again, which is good, because I think the arts and music were absolutely decimated by Corona. It killed theatres, bands of all genres, a lot of places closing. It was horrible. So it's good things are happening again. But this is a perfect segue to chat about the opening track from Hellgate, Reign of Retards. And you mentioned there, you probably know where I'm going with this. You mentioned the politicians, polytricks, as I call it. And I wondered, is that opening song, is that in reference to the politicians and I guess all the problems that come with them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're saying it, that politicians, I mean, do we need to name them? I don't think so. Like, well, I'm not saying that we all have the best politicians in Germany. I mean, they're everywhere, and then there are some of them that they're, really. I mean, Trump saying that honestly, that if you inject like cleaning detergent into your veins, you get rid of the virus. I mean,
you can do it, but you can do it once.
You might not do it again.
The president of the US.
Yeah.
I mean, just crazy.
And I mean, there are some good politicians, but there are so many assholes.
Yeah, it really is.
So that's the main part of the first song. I mean, Reign of Retards. You wrote the lyrics.
I wrote the lyrics. Yes.
You wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, but I mean, I know the term retards is not a nice one, and it's of course usually not used for describing someone, but of course it meant for talking about these politicians, and and also then, I mean, we wrote that song. Then we released that song, the single. We released the single a day before Putin attacked the Ukraine. So again, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, it's sadly somebody I was talking to here, during Corona said it's like the world is run by idiots. That's it. Yeah, it really is. And it was just, Corona, then the war in Ukraine. You just think it's one thing after another, and then the problems with the global economy as well that we're seeing. It feels like just as things are starting to get better, this is still ongoing. From a writing perspective, that's certainly inspiring for music and film and novels. There's certainly lots of material there, especially for extreme metal. You talk about the horror of that.
In this case, we have to thank them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for that one. For providing that material. Yeah, but you're right, because there's been lots of independent horror films that were released during COVID and after about the isolation and someone literally alone in a room battling with what they think with demons present, things like that, how they're processing this nightmare. And it was all looking at like how someone was struggling with the sanity. Now we're live. I forget the names of some of these movies, but some very interesting concepts there. And then, we go on to TOT on the album as well. Yeah. So, yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about that one?
That one is about the guy with the blonde hair.
Yeah, I'm being subtle.
Always the best. I'm the best. I wanted to describe him with his own words. The most of the description words in this text are from him. This Zitate of the English
Quotes.
This?
Quotes.
The most of them are quotes from him. So just grab her by the pussy and
Yeah.
things like that. I think he's a totally insane man, but he's really, really gefährlich, dangerous. Absolutely dangerous.
And he might become president again.
And he might become president again. And it's not that scheiße.
Scheiße.
I understood that one.
Be careful.
Oh, okay. Some of these guys get Deutsch. What I want to say.
Scheiße hast du aufgehört.
Mit Scheiße. Es kommt mit Scheiße. Okay. So,
Mit Scheiße.
Alzheimer.
I'm old, you know.
It's all right. I was subtly provoking you. I kind of had a feeling what that song was about. So I was in a classic British way. I was subtly, politely, gently pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so it's really just a song about him, and I hope he don't get again to get the president of the United whatever.
United whatever. Yeah. Well, it's crazy because we have another unelected prime sinister, as I call them, and I'm like, no one voted for this person, and they just seem to be. I'm going to sound like, well, everyone says completely out of touch, full of their own agendas and egos, have no care. I mean, with the heat waves in Europe pretty much getting hotter and hotter. Our recent prime minister announced for more drilling of oil and gas from the North Sea, and it just seems to be, look, this blissful either ignorance or just refusal to recognize what's completely in the face, what's happening, because we had record heat here last year, and they say it won't happen in the UK. Well, it is. We're due the heat wave coming later this month here. Okay, it's not going to be as bad as what's happened in Greece and Spain and Italy, for example, but I thought the whole planet is getting hotter, and places where they weren't seeing snow, like Texas, for example, they're even seeing snowfall. So I'm totally with you. It's on the creative side, yes, there's no shortage for inspirational material, but they're just on the other side, it's like, these are the real kind of monsters and demons, really. Just depress everybody. And then, forgive my pronunciation here. I'm going to go the excuse. I'm still studying. I'm still learning Deutsch. So it makes me think of it's also in Deutsch begins with an A, I think. Is it? So sorry about this.
No problem.
Yeah. Is it Ausbert? Is that right? Or have I completely?
Ausgeburt.
Ausgeburt. See, right. Ausgeburt.
Yeah, a little bit like Hellspawn.
I see. So what inspired that title? Where does that draw? Is it similar themes?
This one was just Harry made the music, and I listened to it, and I was thinking about, okay, what's fitting there? And it was really heavy, comes from down under.
Yeah.
And I thought of the just really, really stupid, but the devil is coming.
Mm.
So it's just like, I'm devil. What? Something like that. And the lyrics are getting on. I'm the devil, you piece of shit. What do you want? You think you rule the world? No, I do it.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's just a little bit. Wie sagt man? I'm really old.
I'm old. You're not.
Cliché.
Cliche.
Yeah.
Same in English. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that hidden hand, that hidden presence that's in the background, and then he's appearing and saying, "Look, as you said, you think you're the prime evil, you're the one who's in charge. It's actually me." Yeah. That's very interesting. I find that very, very interesting. Has my nerdy imagination thinking horror movies and things again, but it's really, really cool. So, just before we get into the next track, where I mean, I get the sense you're obviously drawing inspiration from, politics and things of that nature, but where else do you draw your inspiration from for writing and playing your music? Do you look at real life as well and perhaps other areas of interest?
Depends who's writing the songs. I mean, the lyrics. Mark, of course, and also Harry, the guitarist, they are like a lot into horror movies and horror fantasy, horror books. So their texts probably rather deal with the horror theme, and I am rather into like social and political stuff. So when I write lyrics, it's rather about this. Basti hasn't been in the band for long, so has not yet written a text, but probably will do. Will do soon. So so that's kind of mixture. And also the next song on the album, the Guta song, is like a Spanish song.
Yeah.
Spanish, and it's about drinking beer and having fun.
Yeah.
Not like only about the bad things. Also, there's some fun included as well.
Right? Yeah. Muchas cervezas. Yeah. It's good.
You got some brown ale over there? No.
Yeah. Oh man, that is one of the. Do you know it's quite hard to get hold of now, but I think it's well, from venues I've recently been at, but it seems everywhere else gets it, and it's.
When I was in England, I was like always Yuki Brown Ale. They were like so hyped on Yuki Brown Ale, and
yeah.
It was like you have to have it. It's a must.
20 years ago. 30 years ago.
Oh, dude, like those beer fests that you guys have. Well, over here they'll have like they call them real ale fests, and they have all these locally produced ales. And I mean, you won't be standing the time you finish there. It's like walking out there. But some of them are so nice, and they're all locally sourced and produced, a lot of them as well. So those are quite cool. I like that mix with the inspirations. There's a band, probably you guys will know them, Jungle Rot from the States, and they do that with their music. It's like a mix of horror, some social political themes as well. And they've got a punk edge in them as well. So that's quite cool. So I've got to ask, with that being said, what would be some of your favorite horror movies, and also maybe some of favorite political thriller movies as well?
For me, it's old one Fulci horror movies. Something like Zombie Flesh Eaters. I think it's in. From Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Something like Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead.
Awesome.
The classics. New one, don't know. Seen not a real good one in the last time, I think. Braindead, for example, is one of my
New Zealand movie.
I've seen it in the cinema here in Germany. It was uncut. It was great. It was so it was a fest, yeah. So
Braindead is great.
Yeah.
after that, it was always cut, and here it's even it's forbidden.
Yeah.
So you can get it here in Germany.
Is that the one that has the famous scene with the kung fu priest, and he says, "I kick ass for the Lord."
Yeah, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
sure.
that movie.
And the Nazi doctor
Yeah.
with the horns.
Yeah. That's
And
classic.
great movie. Great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think those are my fave.
Yeah.
Many more, but
Yeah.
you guys?
Political.
Basti.
Political. I think JFK. I liked.
Oh,
I
good
liked the
one.
movie. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was good playing by Kevin Costner, and I like John F. Kennedy as a politician. It was a great guy, and I think the world maybe would be a little bit better if they didn't shot him.
Yeah. That definitely.
That's it. The thing is that Martin Luther was shot too, and his brother was shot. It was really crazy stuff, it was the Russians in front of Cuba.
Cuban crisis.
Cuba crisis. Everything as well were really crazy times, and in the film there are all this stuff, and I found that really interesting. Political films.
I get most inspiration through the news, actually.
Yeah.
The problem with the news are they're sometimes too gory for
Yeah.
No, the news are really hard to take sometimes.
It's very depressing.
Yeah, you can. Problem is if you're into the news and get your news in your lyrics. I don't want to be too political. I have a political Richtung,
meaning
or direction, but I don't want to express it too much. I'm not. We're not a punk band, but you can hear it in TOT. Yeah, it's a clear direction. Yeah, it's not the stupid go to the right, just hello, fuck you, Nazi bitches. Yeah, sorry.
You're fine, man.
I think for me, it's more there are so many murderers in the world, so many cruelty. You can put it in text and make it a little more, make a little horror story of it.
Yeah.
So it's I think I like it more. So I'm the horror guy.
Okay, we're playing death metal.
And what about you, Grex?
Concerning lyrics, or what?
Both lyrics and movies.
I don't know. I'm not into the movies like I was a lot into the movies before I got the kids. Then the kids, they kept me up all night, and then when they went to bed, I was just too tired to watch any more movies. So that was the end of movies. And when they were awake, I couldn't watch horror movies because they were watching it and just too young. So then I stopped watching horror movies, and in the end, I stuck with the news and with a couple of Amazon or Netflix movies. That's it.
Yeah. Can relate. It's a constant multitasking, and I definitely can appreciate what you were saying with not becoming too political, because you don't want to turn people off from the music as if you're coming across, hey, we're preaching this, you must follow this set of what our beliefs are, etc. So, like we were saying, finding the balance. I just like it from the musical point that I can still hear that sound within the death metal that you play, and I think that's awesome because it's keeping that rawness. Which brings us to track 5, "Let the Infidel Rot." So, what's that song about, and what inspired it?
Well, actually, that song is again about a religious reason rather than the political. And I was like very much influenced, or not influenced, but pretty much shocked about the extreme violence by the IS and the killing that went on in Syria and in Iraq when they had their own kind of state there. And I was shocked about all the reports, and then people even from Germany going down there, joining the IS for religious reasons or for just being a member of the IS. And I thought, wow, that's just crazy. And they were decapitating people, and we were filming it and showing it on social media and so on. And I thought that's not the point. And then I wanted just to get across that that's a difficult issue, and then also something that really upset me, and I just wanted to write a song about that.
Yeah. Like we were saying, it's drawn from that real life horror and real world evil, and I think sometimes people can get involved with some of these, I guess, movements, and I'm probably not putting it in the best way, and sometimes some of them don't realize just what they are and how wicked they are as well. Certainly. And Harbinger of Death, could you tell us a little bit about that song? Again, what inspired it? And
well, again, this is about the COVID situation, and the virus that spread and brought so many deaths to so many people, and of course we all know it. And the harbinger of death, that they are like, this is just the start, maybe there's more to follow. And now we have the war in Ukraine, and we have all these things that are connected to climate change, and again, that's all getting bigger and bigger, and we're hopefully not on an upward scale here, but we thought that might be the beginning of something else to come.
Yeah, sadly, hopefully not. Do you think, I put this open question to you all, I've noticed with death metal bands like yourself, there can be a lot of hidden meanings, hidden inspiration behind the music, and I think people can often, to an untrained ear, overlook it and think, right, this is just noise, there's no substance there. And I think death metal bands, in my opinion, especially old school bands as well, are very subtle and smart at the way they bring in these various influences that you've been chatting about. Is that something that you think death metal bands have always been good at doing? Loaded question.
Long question.
I mean, there's so many death metal bands, and it's difficult to tell with not knowing motivation and different kind of. That's hard to say, actually.
I think they're really raw.
Yeah.
Again, raw. So they don't want to hit it behind some nice lyrics. The world is going down. Da, 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 da. I think it's more like a punch in your face, and it gives you the brutal truth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just like the band, The Brutal Truth. Yeah. It's just it's always been a personal observation and thought I had with death metal bands, grindcore obviously as well. And I just thought, when people are sometimes dismissive of their extreme metal, I like to say to them, there's actually a lot more there than you realize. If you take the time, to listen, and it's a lot harder than you think. Vocally, playing the drums at that speed, the same with the guitars. There's a hell of a lot goes into it. For example, as I mentioned, vocals, projecting your voice, keeping it in healthy conditions. So, with that said, how do you guys keep fit and healthy and ensure that you're in good shape to play? Well, the beers.
The German beers.
yeah. Boys. Actually, it was really away from my belly.
Breathe in. Just out.
So,
how do you keep fit? Come on.
I keep fit. Actually, when I begin in this band, I bought a special beer. It was a strong beer. So, and before every concert, I drank 1 or 2 beer, and during the concert, 2 or 3 beer, and it was perfect. My voice was after the show. It was clean.
Well, that's totally the opposite for me. I mean, if I drink beer before the show, I can't play the drums anymore. Like if I drink 1, fine, maybe 2, but not more. And if the coordination is gone, and there was one show like many years ago, and we brought like 34 years ago, we started it. So there's one show like at the beginning of the 90s. I just fell off the stage because there was too much beer involved. So I just know that it's not possible. And after the show, it's fine, but not before, during.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. Drinking 1 or 2 beers, no problem. But really, drinking is really. I did it I had a crossover band.
Right.
Like Limp Bizkit and Rage Against the Machine, like that. And we were touring really a lot. And in the crossover, the whole thing is you have to entertain.
Yeah.
You have to jump. You
very
have
high
to
energy.
The whole stage and everything. And from my inside, I wasn't able to do that undrunk. So we practiced drinking and playing, and after a few weekends drinking and playing, I was able to play this shit. If I was drunk after 8 or 10 beers, I could play this overnight because I was practicing that stuff in fully drunk. And so it was no problem. But with that stuff, I'm new in the band. I'm more coming from progressive metal styles, or more groovy parts, and not from the fast style. I was always playing finger style on bass. Not I didn't play plaque before this band, and they asked me and now I'm really practicing, and I had a lot of fun, and it's a cool music. But the first gigs, I don't have to drink beer, I think. I'm really struggling with playing that.
We're not just drinking beer. Well, we are also drinking wine and schnapps. No. We're getting older. Yeah? It's not like 10 or 20 years ago. We had our fun times, but now we're a little bit more settled. But beer is also now the first choice for boys.
Hey, if it works, if it works, it works. It's really interesting, and especially mentioning crossover bands, Bastian. There's now I forget because we're live. There's there's a band from Deutschland who are a mix of like Rage Against the Machine, hip hop and metal. Swiss Die Anthem, I think, or is that the song by them? Now
H. You mean H blocks or
No.
Not Xbox.
It might be something. It might be something Die Anthem, possibly. Yeah, something like that. They're kind of a bit similar to Rise of the North Star from France.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I'll have to, I'll look it
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
When you say it, I remember, but I don't know. The only German band I know is Such a Search, and
Yeah, stimmt.
and the others were not German. H Blocks is
H-Blocks is like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with a woman.
Yeah. Open your eyes.
Oh, Guano Apes.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we played with many of them. There were many more, but it's long ago, and I was drinking much.
Yeah. Wait, no, it'll happen. As soon as the show's over, I'll randomly, I don't know, like at 2 or 3 and remember and be like, oh, that was, yeah. But you're very right. They are very high energy, those shows as well, because it's getting even like so much crowd interaction, especially on some of the chorus parts of the lyrics, getting everybody pumped up and jumping. So it's certainly a workout in itself there. I'm just curious. So obviously the band has been around, a long time. Basti, you come from the scene as well. How did you guys first get into music? Who were some of the people that you were listening to and thought, oh, I want to pick up a guitar, the drums, get into vocals as well?
Shall I start?
Yeah, do.
I start with when I was like a young teeny and with the school, no, the school band. The school band played. They were called Sweet Snurkle, and they played Deep Purple classics.
Right.
I was like a little 7th grader, and I didn't have any idea about Deep Purple and whatever. So I was there in that gym, and they were playing the last day of school before the summer break. They were playing Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, Child in Time, whatever and I was there like, wow, I thought that's their own songs because I didn't know any of Deep Purple. I thought Sweet Snurkle, that's a cool band, and they played awesome music. And then after the show, I went upstage and then asked the guys, wow, this is so cool, and congratulations, and I really like the songs, and what are they called? And then they said it's all by Deep Purple. And I said, oh, okay, cool. And the same day I went to the record store and got myself even I didn't have a CD player at that time. My parents didn't have a CD player. They just had a record player. So I got a CD, Deep Purple made in Japan, and got the CD and went home and said, Mom, I've got a CD by Deep Purple. Please get me a CD player. And the next day I bought a CD player and I listened to Deep Purple made in Japan. And this was the start. And then like everything else followed.
Yeah.
For me, it was more German punk.
Yeah.
Punk bands. I was like Toten Hosen, Ärzte, Brieftauben, Dritte Wahl, something like that. And I knew they're not too complicated on the guitar, so maybe I could play it also. And I tried it and I failed pretty much. 10 years after, I took the guitar back in my hands and I learned and learned and then learned. And I had my own punk metal band. And I tried to sing and play guitar, failed again. So guitar or singing, not both. So we had a singer, and one day the guys from Deaf Aid told a friend of mine they're searching a singer, and I'm pretty much into here something like Punch and Stanch and Both Rower. I'm a great fan from Both Rower. So they invited me for one test.
One
night.
One night. One night.
One night special.
Yeah, special. Yeah. And we're playing the song. It was tell me.
Addicted to
Extinction. My favorite song ever. It's really a real good both row number. Both row light number. And I was in love, so I stayed. And it was a new singer in Death 8. That's my short story.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay, my story. It all started. My father was listening to old heavy metal stuff like Van Halen and German bands like Scorpions or bands like Whitesnakes, and also Genesis. He was really hearing much music, and so I heard that too. I was listening that but when I get older, I started listening to Nirvana and the classic style. There came Nirvana in the 90s. Nirvana it was
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden, but the Nevermind album. Sorry, it's fucking one of the best albums ever written.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
This is so crazy. This has so much power. And then after that, then one day I was singing in bands, but I decided that's not the best thing to do. I can sing a little bit, but I don't have a really nice voice, so
not like me.
It was a decision, and then somebody asked me to play bass, and I started learning playing bass. And as I was ready to play in the band was not existing anymore. And then my bass teacher showed me Tool, and then that changed everything from my bass playing, from my from all what I'm listening to now. I'm listening. If I listen to music, many Death 8 as well, but it's all the progressive metal stuff, and I'm listening to all these bands like Tool, Porcupine Tree, Ocean Size, and all this stuff, and I really like that. But since Corona, I was mixing as an audio engineer every weekend metal bands, and I came into.
And I talked to you.
I was working. He was drinking beer, and after every gig, he was talking to me.
Come to us.
They come to us, and now I'm really listening metal bands. Just at home, and I didn't do that before. This was Cracks and Death 8.
Yes.
But Greg's pulled a scorpion on you from Mortal Kombat. Get over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really good to hear, because it shows that you've got a very interesting and diverse landscape there with your background, and you're obviously open to music as a whole, and not only when people like that work together, that creates a really genuine, soulful, authentic piece of music for whatever they are doing. So that's really, really interesting to hear. So you mentioned, you know, the seventh track on Hellgate is the title track, Hellgate. You talked about what that was about, and then it's followed by In a Nightmare. I do hear, we've talked about the punk and hardcore that I can still hear in the music. I can definitely hear the bolt thrower vibe as well. I think I mentioned that in one of the emails, Grex. I love bolt thrower, Benediction 2. Is it Memoriam, who Carl formed after bolt thrower, I think. Great as well. So, hearing those sounds coming through your music as well, I was just like, man, this is awesome. I can't believe I actually haven't heard you before, especially when I used to DJ on Brutal Existence Radio. I thought, why haven't I come across these guys? Because I used to play bands just like yourselves on a show I did called The Wastelands, which was just full of thrash, death metal, punk, hardcore, DB, crust punk, grind. It was just an onslaught from start to finish, pretty much like a Mad Max soundtrack as you would get. So now I've just verbally talked too long. I'm now mentally forgetting what I was going to ask you. It's not professional. It's like, it's like my brain's just decided, I need a rest, so I'm ejecting.
Maybe the last
song. The last song. You ended with the last song, Inner Nightmare.
Yeah. So, is that related to Corona then? I was mentioning that with horror, some of the horror films that were created earlier, people dealing with their own personal nightmare during
we got
time.
a Hellgate lyrics video on YouTube.
We got
a Hellgate lyrics video on YouTube, and that's pretty much about COVID and all that, how it got off, and that's a pretty cool video actually, and some guys in England made it. So
I think it's not just about COVID. It's COVID inspired, but think about every 100 years it gets some of these viruses. Pandemics. Thank you. Which kills a lot of men. And so it's not just. It's really just COVID inspired. I think it's more like this shit is coming again. Wait 100 years and it's coming again. I swear.
Yes.
It
might be
100 years,
or not 150.
Yeah, it might be the Mars edition by then if we've colonized Mars. Yeah. So what is also do you have any more videos planned to support the album?
We wanted to do a live video, but still need the footage of that. So actually not yet. Maybe we have some show that we recorded on video. We get some outtakes and then just arrange it for another video. But that Hellgate one is like the one that we put most effort and for above all money in.
Yeah, it's a good video. It is for sure. I appreciate here with this question, you might not be able to give too much away, and I don't want to intentionally drop in spoilers, I guess, but have you thought about the next album yet? Have you got any material ready, or are you just going to concentrate on promoting Hellgate for now?
Not ready, but in work. I think there's some raw material from Harry. I think I'm looking over it now. I have a little bit of time. I don't work the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, from wrestling.
So I can make a little arrangement of things or so, and then go back with this material to the Proberaum, the rehearsal room, and material live. So we think about it, but now it's holiday time.
Yeah. And the other thing is that Basti just joined the band recently, and of course we also want him to catch up with our old material and our old stuff, because we also want to play old songs during the shows, and so we want him to catch up with it, and we are going to practice old songs together with Basti, and then on the other hand, also we of course try to get in new songs, like Mark already said, but Harry's writing a new riffs and is producing them, and so we are about to, of course, to compose or to set up a new album, but that's like all very early stages.
Yeah, really early stages. Now promote the new album.
Yeah. Well, I was reading on your site that you love playing live. So what would be some of your favorite shows that you have played over the years? And I know you've recently just come to the Band Bastion, so perhaps you could mention some of the shows that you played before Death Aid.
Me. The biggest show was Southside. It's a festival in Germany. Southside was. Yeah, where I played at Southside.
Death Aid.
Not with Death Aid. I had a little bit better times than with Death Aid. Yeah, it was, and in Germany we had many of these 3,000 or 4,000 people festivals, and
Nice.
we were touring some 2 summers or in I think it's long ago, but we were touring two summers over the festivals, every weekend 2 festivals, and it was so great. It was a real great time. But if I looked up with another band after years, all these festivals are not existing anymore.
Sad.
Yeah, that's really sad, because I think the problem is that
Everybody wants the money back after the show. So they're broke, all broke.
but
I know.
It's a long list.
I can give you back from the photo shoot. I had a really bad sunburn in the first thing.
Yeah. That could be a long list of contracts out after you.
Yeah, but there were really much of that stuff. Yeah, but it's a little bit time ran down the river since that.
And what about you, Grex? What's been some of your favorite shows with Death Aid? And
there were so many shows since '89, and I don't remember all of those. But I started thinking about it when you asked the question first, and there was that one show which I think it was in '92 when we played in a little village near my former hometown in the south of Germany, and they had like a huge gym that was rented just for that bands, and they were playing a show against racism, and then we were asked, and of course we played for free, and then I said, of course, all the money is donated, fine. So, and there was this huge drum kit, and I was like still a young drummer, and I never played a huge drum kit, and there were 2 bass drums and like maybe 10 toms and a million of cymbals, and I was like, wow, this is just too much. And I was like sitting there like a small teeny and playing that huge drum kit. And then there was a lot of fog. Like they had a fog machine on that stage, and the stage was like, when we started playing, I didn't even see the cymbals anymore because it was like foggy all around. And I just guessed where the cymbals are. But the good thing is there was so many cymbals I could hit wherever I wanted.
Freedom of choice.
Right. They were just everywhere. So that was not a problem at all. Yeah, and then there was another one where we had this concert in La, which was a place where the former Canadian army was stationed, and they left that station at the former airport there. And there was a nice lake, and they had this farewell festival at the lake with a huge stage. And this was a great summer day, and the people came to this lake, and People were swimming in the lake, had barbecues around the lake, and we were playing. And the stage was like pretty close to the lake. So if you wanted to, on the one side, you could like even jump from the stage into the lake. On the other side, there were people having the party. So this was a real cool festival-like atmosphere nearby the lake, and I enjoyed that. And last but not least, there was this final concert on COVID, which was strange because it was a streaming show. It was in Basti's club, just
I
around the
mixed
corner.
them.
That
was front of
he
house.
was mixed us with the old bass player before him, and we were playing that show, and I was like, we're playing that show in front of 3 cameras, and there's no audience. It was totally strange because it was a streaming show, and I thought, there's no atmosphere, and this is really weird. But in the end, it was one of the best paid shows ever, so it was pretty cool, actually.
Wow. I remember. Sorry. What about you, Mark? As well, would be some of your favorites.
For me, it was two concerts. It was one here in a big club with Master.
Oh yeah, Paul Speckman's band.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
And another gig in a small, really small room with I like this band really a lot, but I don't remember the fucking name.
Yeah, that happened to me earlier. Don't worry.
I'd like I have to hear them 10 years before, and it was really hot in there. It was so sweaty, the sweat coming from the ceiling and water. But it was so great guys. The audience was so full of energy. It was really great.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear. It reminds me of a local metal club that used to be here years ago, where they'd never ever updated anything. And it was, when I say a dive bar, it was like the king of dive bars, and the sweat would drip down, like you're saying, the sweat would drip off the feelings onto you, and you walked in cleaner than you go out. You just stank, your clothes were sticking to you. And it was all, I always remember on the dance floor, they had like, they had a hole in the wall which looked like somebody had smashed into or something. And I always thought, I could imagine there was 2 guys probably looked at that and thought, we need to fix that at some point. And then like decades have gone by, it's still been left there. But yeah, that closed as well. But as much as those places, obviously sounds disgusting with sweat dripping on you, there's just sort of something authentic about them. As you said, with the atmosphere, you get that intimacy, that energy from the crowd. The pits usually get going. Those are always great. So there's something to be said for those venues, rather than, I guess, there's nothing worse sometimes when you go and see a band and people are just stood there like this, not moving. I hate those kind of gigs. There's no atmosphere, and it must be horrible for bands to play that. I'm like, come on, you can at least move your head a little. You are allowed to do that. So,
hell yeah.
Excuse me, I think I'm being attacked by demons myself at the moment. So do you have any shows that are coming up to support the album, and where is there anywhere that you've never played in your career as a band?
In the UK.
Oh, well, we'll have to get on that. That then. Yeah.
We have played, around here, like in south of Germany and Switzerland and France. But of course, we also like to play in other parts. The problem is the traveling. It's always expensive, and if you want to play a show somewhere else, it's, first of all, you need to get the costs covered for traveling, for staying of the night, and all that. And this just makes it pretty much impossible, as we're not like that famous, and so that's the thing. So we're pretty much stuck around the region here and playing songs in our place. Although we would like to go places.
Well, hopefully, maybe you know, a bigger label can pick you up one day and then fund a tour. That would be great to see, because I think you've certainly got that authenticity. Believe it or not, I'm sober. Authenticity. I can't even speak English.
We can switch to German anytime.
Yeah. Northern Barbarian. Language is difficult. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, my mind's gone blank again. This is awful. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, you've got that authenticity with your music, so I think it would be a shame for people not to hear you, especially as in recent times. The old school death sound has had a revival as well. You know, there's lots of bands who are playing the genre, so it definitely needs to get out of there. Sorry. My mind sometimes races ahead faster than my actual words, which is so convenient. Now I'm naturally hyper.
No problem.
Yeah. So I've got to ask you this as well, Comedy One. I don't know if you like football or not, but would you support the concept of like everyone should be able to beat Bayern Munich and Manchester United and all of those horrible teams?
Yeah, Sporting Freiburg should be.
Yeah.
No, of course we're. Well, at least I'm supporting our team in Freiburg, which is pretty good actually at the moment, at least.
Yeah.
But still, they don't have the money to like buy all the expensive players. So they will never beat Munich or Leicester or anyone.
I always feel sorry.
They beat Munich, but they will never be like able to get the Champions League.
No, yeah, Champions League. Yeah, they're going to be able to, but they're not able to spend so much money as the fucking rich guys there.
They're not
with the sponsors from Qatar or so or whatever.
Yeah.
The coolest thing ever was like West Ham United having Iron Maiden ring on their shirts. That was so cool.
Yeah, definitely. I always I've been impressed with Leipzig in recent years for what they've done and the success that they've had. And I always feel sorry for Borussia Dortmund, because they just get to a point afterwards where they're challenging Munchen, and then they always sell the players like Jude Bellingham, going to Real Madrid. So yeah, I mean, this happens.
Why are you telling this? They are Freiburg. I'm Borussia Dortmund since.
Same, Jim.
Fist.
Ejected from the band.
Yeah, but I think Borussia Dortmund is not like Bayern Munich or like Manchester City or something like that. They earn from buying cheap players and selling them for much money, and they have the biggest stadium.
Yeah.
Not in Europe.
No. Europe, it's
in Germany. Yeah.
In Europe it's
Barcelona.
Yeah, the new camp. Yeah. Well, so with that said, what do you think of the of how the Saudi league could be? Because they've been buying a lot of players at the moment, and they're going to be paying them ridiculously high wages.
Can't forget them, because it's the same we have here in Germany. We have the Red Bull, Red Bull Leipzig. Leipzig.
Yeah.
It's a plastic. It's a plastic. It's just about money. Yeah. There's one rich guy who's has really good money and said, come to me. I pay you millions,
pretty much
euros. So we are a good team, and that's not a team. That's a bunch of guys who's really good players, but they're not a team. Yeah, a team is like our team here in Freiburg. But they're grown up. Yeah, they're grown up together for sure. there are some players from outside, but the main players are from here. Yeah, they're supporting the local players here, and I think that's real good football. The other one is just money and money making.
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah. No. I had this conversation a lot with people, and it's a real, oh God, it's a real dual-edged sword, because on one hand, yes, it can bring new faces into the game, new people to watch it, and I understand them wanting to present an attractive league. But on the other hand, as you said, it's all for money. Will that stop in a few years once that trend has happened? Because you've got to invest in the league as well, which I'm not going to say they aren't doing, but try and get the standard improved for your own players, which starts with your local guys. There's only for so long can you keep importing, the big names in all of the time. So I'm quite curious to see where it goes. And with the money in football as well in recent years, I feel we've lost that balance as well. I have like a love-hate relationship with football myself, because sometimes I get all hyped to watch a game, and I'll watch it, and then I'm just like 10, 15 minutes later, I'm like this, bored. Dive. There's no, like, someone's just gone, and the guy's rolling on the floor. And maybe that's because I watch a lot of combat sports as well, MMA, UFC, bare knuckle, for example, karate, combat, even pro wrestling. Yes, where it's scripted, but the injuries and impacts that they take are real. And I can't help it sometimes with the amount of diving that happens in football. I'm like, oh, just get up, man. There's nothing wrong with you. So I've gone off on a little tangent there.
Yeah. they want to rest.
Yeah.
1 million more, please.
Yeah. I need time to do that, please. Yeah, take a breather. Are you guys into any other sports then outside of football? Do you like combat sports at all, MMA or anything like that?
No, mountain biking, a little bit mountain biking, but at the moment not. No.
Yeah, cycling. Yes. I was looking for the Tour de France.
Yeah.
And I found it was really interesting. And I'm doing bike tours 2 in a year.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm traveling with a bike like 400 or 500 kilometers.
Yeah.
Because I think it's you can come down, and it's a really nice way to travel, because you relax, and you see nice places in your country where you were never going to until but it's pretty much football and cycling. not much more.
What about you, Grex?
I'm doing a little fitness and wakeboarding. Really
nice.
This last summer, this summer, it's cool being on the lake with the board and beer. Do you know any wakeboarding?
I don't, but I do know the sport. I know about it. And I always
really cool. There's a lake nearby which provides this lift where you can just go in circles and have different kind of ramps, and that's pretty cool.
Awesome. No, I do like the X Games as well, where they show, a lot of snowboarding too, and motocross. That's always cool. 2 really, really silly sports, which could be an inspiration for a comedy band here. I don't know if you've ever seen them. There's 2. The first, the World Timber Championships, timber sports, where it's got guys using like still saws, and they're they're racing to go like the kind of like a log with half a tree, I guess. It's insane. And then I don't know if you've ever come across this one, and this just looks like absolutely crazy. And these guys are big dudes as well, and that would be the slapping championships. It's like these. Oh, honestly, there's the stand there, a bit like how they do arm wrestling, where they grip something, and literally they stand there and they're letting the guy take like 3 or 4 shots at them, and these are big guys as well, stabbing the dudes, and it's like almost if they stood there going, yeah, that was a good one, that was a good one, I'm still standing, I can take it, and then the next thing, crazy stuff. Funny, but yeah, you've got to be psychotic to do it, I think, that's for sure. Yeah. So is there anything else that you would like to shout out connected to the band, you know, certainly where people can find you and support you, you know, with the merchandise?
Well, we are on all the social media, so you can find us on all different platforms there. We're on Bandcamp for the merchandise. We have a website that's death8.com.
Merchandise.
Yeah, like that. That's cool color.
We have done. Well, what else do we have? We have.
What have we? CDs, T-shirts, USB, stickers, a lot of man. So many stuff.
No, and we like to play shows like everywhere. We like to play shows, and as long as we do not have to pay to play show, or just we get covered in a way, we're traveling everywhere.
Yeah.
Excellent. One other question before I let you guys go, because I know I've kept you here quite a while. What advice would you give to a band or a group of musicians for maintaining longevity? You know, you guys have been around a long time. Basti, I know you've been in other bands, but perhaps you could have some thoughts on this as well, aside from enjoying drinking beer together.
That's kind of that keeps the band together, the drinking. No. In a way, it's not just the music. The music, of course, you have to have, in a way, the same taste. But Basti comes from a different kind of angle. Mark and me, more or less similar. Harry, again, rather the hardcore punk influence there as well. But the thing is also the friendship. I mean, that keeps it in a way together, and that's
definitely.
If you just have you're him, but we're not friends, and him, but not friends, that will not last for a long time. So I think the friendship makes it last.
Just being an alcoholic is not the thing.
But it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All alcoholics. I mean, come on.
I think the best concept is if you focus on music, if it's about music, not about getting famous, about getting better, about playing bigger gigs. I played in many of those bands before, and it was always good as it was rising, it was going up, and the first thing it fall down, there were so many problems, and all the people are fighting against each other, because it's all about the mindset. We have to get famous, we have to get this has to be our job, we want to do this for life. I think if you meet like we do, and meet one time a week, and meet at the rehearsal room, and just to make music and make good music and put it out to the world, and nothing more is in between. Not I want to earn my money with that, I want to get famous, I want all the people that they scream to me. If that's not your decision, then you can do it like these guys.
Throw slips and
that's what he wanted.
Yes. But the slips are big like this.
Parachutes.
No, he's absolutely right. It's all big, and you have to have fun with your thing, what you're doing. Not for fame, not for money. You have to have fun for this, what you're doing. This is the point, the only point. What's coming.
Yeah, certainly. And I think then, not to sound too cliche, but the music speaks for itself. It's having that harmony within the band, communication, compromising, I was saying this to the guy I was talking to on Saturday, Rod, agreeing to disagree when necessary, listening to each other's perspective. I think you could pretty much apply this to any kind of relationship in life, I guess. And like you were saying, Basti, if you've just got that constant focus on we must be famous, you're losing sight of the music. You still need you need the music first as a band before anything. The music's got to be out there for whatever style you're playing. If you've got that authenticity with we're going to play rock, we're going to play thrash, whatever it is, that's got to be there. Because if not, then as you said, when you are getting that fall from the high, then those internal problems will manifest, people arguing, and the next thing the band just goes.
And also it's like when you have to be famous, you want to make music what the people hear. Yeah, I want to make music what I want to hear. Yeah,
But it's the only way to get famous. I think people who write music because of I'm writing now hip hop music because hip hop is now the famous music style, then you won't get success because the circle is running over. And what you said, authenticity, that's the main thing. And you can't be authentic if you cover other guys, or if you make music like you hear in the radio. You have to do music
from your heart.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that cliche, but
it's true though.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
it's very hard.
Yeah, it's whatever you're doing. It's the same with martial arts. If you're learning a particular discipline, yes, there's a reason why you learn grappling, because you want to obviously learn grappling for the ground, be able to wrestle and hopefully stop someone taking you to the ground or take them down there when necessary. But you've still got to enjoy what you are doing, and particularly with music, the people seem to forget this as well. There's an underground for everything, not just with metal. So if it's not coming across as authentic, the real genuine cats in that music scene will notice, will spread and say, well, this isn't an authentic or faithful version. It's, manufactured in plastic. Now, hey, if someone wants to, if that's what they want to do and make that kind of music, then okay, all power to you. But I think, as you were saying, just for maintaining that good working relationship and longevity with the band, then you've got to share that love and passion for why you're doing it.
Yeah, that's. I think we see. It's really nice to see it now. The band really had. One of us had real problems in life. We had to cancel a show, and we had to cancel rehearsals and everything. And when we came back to the rehearsal room, and he was playing, and he was smiling for that, and the whole problems and everything was pushed away. I was going out of this rehearsal and I was smiling too, because it was so nice to see what music can do with people. And that
definitely
we saw that a few weeks ago, and it was really crazy, and that gave so much back. And I think that's the thing music can do. It's there to make people happy and to entertain people, and not there to get famous or something like that.
Yeah, so the power of music, I mean, personally myself, it's music and martial arts that have helped me get back on the path to doing this again, to where I want to go with it. And there's a music for every mood, for every situation. I mean, yes, of course, I'm a punk, hardcore and metal guy, but I like other music as well. And it's just, as you said, it's getting that happy feeling, and it's giving me something to focus on again. So I know I've kept you here quite a long time, guys. I do appreciate you coming on, and it's been great. We've certainly had some giggles, and you are welcome on the show anytime to promote anything you're doing, singles, album releases, live gigs that you've got coming up, just let me know. And wish you all the best, and I hope to talk to you again very soon, y'all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice.
Oh, that's great stuff. So, folks, get at me if you want to come on the show. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, smash the mosh like button, and we will be back with episode 3 tomorrow. Peace out for now, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.